What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 16 on my road to 2,100 pounds and the continuation on my road to 700 pounds on bench press. All right, so this week is back to normal schedule. Went in on Monday to get my bench workout in. Felt pretty good strength-wise. One thing you'll notice, and I'll talk about a little bit in this voiceover, is my shoulder and tricep on my left side has been giving me a little bit of grief, not necessarily during lifts, but like at night when I'm sleeping. I like to sleep with my hands above my head, and I kind of read some things and heard some different things that might not be a good thing, and I've also heard some conflicting arguments that it doesn't really matter. But one way or another, I've definitely kind of tweaked something, nothing major because I did go to the doctor. But I'll show you this. This is 555. It's called for a set of 3. So a little bit of a, not so much of a pause there. Paused on that one. And at this point I knew that 3 was not going to happen. I was definitely feeling something in that shoulder. A little bit frustrated. Sat down for about 10 minutes and decided to go ahead and take another set. Kind of making sure that I got plenty warm and stayed warm and stretch band. A little bit of stretch bands before this set, and was going to go ahead and just either get the last rep that I needed, or if things felt good, I was going to go ahead and go for 3. So as you will see on this set, I was keeping pretty tight, making sure to pause really good. So the first one went off without a hitch. Went ahead and took a second one, and I felt pretty good about that, so I was like, you know what the heck, I'm going to go for a third. And that just, I felt it in that shoulder, and before I wanted to take any chances, I just set it down safely on those safety pins. That's a good example of why I use those safety pins in a safety rack. The shoulder definitely was on fire. It was not a tear or a strain necessarily. It was definitely something else. The next set here calls for a 495 for a set of 3, actually a set of 3, 4 sets of that. And you'll see here, this is definitely not a speed bench for me. And I went ahead and racked it and called it a day on bench. So I didn't want to mess up anything else. So as you can see, I'm getting prepared here for dips. I really expected my shoulder on my left side to be messing with me quite a bit on dips, considering it is very shoulder intensive. So I was going to go ahead and see how this felt and just kind of play it by ear. This is 185 pounds. The Rogue pin here is about 6 or so pounds, plus I've got 180 in weight. So going through my mind, obviously I'm thinking stay tight as possible. If anything feels off, shut it down immediately. And it didn't feel too bad, which was kind of surprising. Didn't pause it as much as I would at the top. I really wasn't going to take too many chances at risking irritating that shoulder anymore. I wanted to just kind of get my reps out of the way in the safe as a manner as I could. I'm not, at this point in the game, in my career and in my meet prep, I am not going to take any chances to be stupid just to get a rep in. I am very calculated and smart about how I approach my training. If I would have felt anything that would have been over the top, I would have pretty much just walked out of the gym at any point in time. So definitely playing it by ear. Went on to do some band flies. This is just like an RPE 6, basically just to get some blood flow in, get a little bit of chest pump. I didn't feel it in my chest very much at all. I did feel it in my rear delts quite a bit. It felt good. So it was definitely some blood flow getting into those shoulders. But just another movement to tell me exactly what's going on with that shoulder. I had already at this point decided that the very next appointment time that I could get, I'm going to go in and check out what's going on with the shoulder with the professional, with the doctor, like I always advocate to any of you that have shoulder issues. There's too much going on in that joint. It's a very complex area. I cannot diagnose that myself. I'm very much in tune with my body, so I know if I'm in pain and if I'm injured. I would not say that I'm injured, but I'm definitely not going to push it to the point where I do, get injured and make it worse. So I'll go ahead and kind of tell you guys what happened as I've got some other workout stuff going on here, but I've got all the sets and reps on the screen so I can kind of keep talking. But basically, I went in to One Life Chiropractic. It's a place right out by me. They were willing to see me, and pretty much the next day I could get in there right before the 4th of July. And they did some x-rays, they did some different tests on me, and basically just chalked it up to being a little bit of a couple of things. One is some anterior delt tightness and pec, almost not really some serious scar tissue, but definitely some scar tissue in the area that we need to kind of break up, and that's kind of a partial of what might be causing some of the pain to radiate down the arm. My rear delts are definitely needing just some massage work and some different things like that. I was concerned it was a rotator cuff, which is obviously a scary thing. It was not, is not. In fact, I'm doing this voiceover actually the following Saturday, so about 6 days later after the problem had occurred, and it's definitely feeling a lot better. I've been rolling out on a lacrosse ball pretty much twice a day, 3 times a day, and I just dig in there as much as I can stand it, and just really dig out a lot of that tightness, and that has loosened it up quite a bit and has helped with everything. Today's squats that you're watching right now, that was my last warm-up with 565. I did high bar. My first few warm-up sets were low bar, and it was definitely aching that shoulder a little bit. Things just felt off with squats. I think it was just mostly in my mind because I knew that I wasn't 100% with the shoulder, which kind of throws me off mentally, full body. It really shouldn't, but you know, it's a mind game. So I went low bar here on my top set of 600 by 2. I think I could have gotten a little bit lower, but you'll see the next set or the next rep definitely is a little lower. But feel strong. I didn't expect it to feel as light as it did after that 565 did not move the way I wanted it to. Naturally, low bar versus high bar as well. This is a back shot of it. You can definitely see where the bar is on my back. Just getting into position is definitely, my shoulders are tight. I have very good mobility for most. And this particular day, obviously, I've been rubbing out those arms, the triceps, the shoulders, and so my upper body really is just kind of inflamed at this point. I've been really pissing it off, trying to move some of this soreness. So squats being the very next day. This was actually on the 4th of July. Was basically, my legs felt great. It was just the holding the bar that was throwing me off quite a bit, but went off without a hitch. Got my sets in, got all my reps in. Was pretty excited about this particular day. But going back to addressing the shoulder issue, I know that's a big issue with a lot of guys, especially talking to me about big bench and things like that. What we're going to do, I've discussed obviously with the doc. We're going to have a plan of action going forward. I'll actually meet with them after bench the next week, and we're going to kind of go forward with kind of a massage protocol along with some stretching and some different things that we can do, and I'll let you guys in on all of that just because I think it would help you guys that are maybe dealing with the same issues. But I do have to stress, it is not something as serious as being able to have to pull out of the meet or not continue benching, anything like that. It's definitely not that bad, so I'm not too concerned. But if you know me and if you follow me for a while, you definitely know that I will attack any signs of weakness or potential injury coming on or strains with a freaking sledgehammer, because I do not have time to nurse an injury. I do not want to nurse an injury. I want to take care of it and tackle it before it becomes a serious issue. I cannot stress that enough. I know too many people that have been hurt and injured because of lack of preparation or letting themselves get a little bit too hurt too often, and then before you know it, they have a bicep tear or a pec tear or a rotator cuff or something that they could have addressed earlier. And that's about all I can do. You can't prevent catastrophic injuries, accidents, things like that can happen at meets or through workouts or slipping on a dryer sheet or just freak stuff. But you can prevent things like this. So naturally, I'm going to do that. we are going to be, I've talked with my coach Josh Bryant, and we're actually going to be taking not really a break, but we're definitely going to switch up the chest workout next week. Regular squats, regular deadlifts, all those are going to be really heavy, like they should in meet prep. We're actually going to have an opportunity to play around, and I say that seriously, with some 200-pound dumbbells on bench. So I'm very excited. I have never had 200-pound dumbbells on bench, and just mostly because I've never been in a gym that has those that heavy. I think the most I've ever done for any kind of reps was like 150, and I did those for probably 30 or 40 reps. I don't remember, but I think I have a video of that somewhere. But pretty excited. I know my Jailhouse Strong teammate Julius has done continuously 12 reps, and I know Ronnie Coleman has a video of him doing it back in the day for like 12 reps. So I think that's the record to beat. Obviously I want to be smart about it, but I would love to have a shot at that just in my own training. So that'll be the goal, kind of change up how we're looking at things, give my shoulder a chance to rest, because I can actually grip the dumbbells in a slightly different angle, which will take a little bit of the irritation off of that shoulder. I've already done, as you'll see here in just a second, 125s at this particular gym for like a set of 30. Didn't even feel it, honestly. So I am not concerned the least bit going heavier on dumbbells. They actually feel a lot better on the shoulder. So with that said, I think I could probably end the rant about the shoulder. I don't want you guys to be concerned any more than I am. I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on, because I know a lot of guys in the bench press world, the powerlifting world, have shoulder issues. And if I don't take care of this, this could definitely turn into something more serious, and that's not what we want. I'm not in 100% bench press mode right now, obviously with the full power going on, but soon after Boss of Bosses, I will be gunning for the all-time record in my weight class, as well as going far beyond that as much as I can. 700 plus. So I definitely do not want to start that training cycle with a bad shoulder or an injury from bench. With that said, numbers are still looking good to go well into the 7s on squat. Definitely that on deadlift. That's looking a lot better, as you'll see here in a second. And then my bench, I think we could probably do a conservative 660 or so bench in the meet. The all-time record for a full meet bench is 666, done by Ted Arcidi. I believe, and I don't mean any disrespect if it wasn't, but I think he just did a token squat and token deadlifts, meaning basically he didn't go all out on his squat and all out on his deadlift for a total. He actually entered the meet for the bench record. I'm going to be going into Boss of Bosses looking to put up my best numbers in all 3 if I possibly can, not holding back on one to make another one better. So look for 700 plus squat. Definitely 666 would be a great number for bench, and then 750 or maybe even more for deadlift. So, but this exercise here, I can definitely tell it's not rotator, because that rear delt is not firing in a way that's injuring anything. These are the dumbbells that I was talking about earlier. This is just 125, just whipping them out. I was planning on doing about a set of 40, and I didn't want to push it too far, because I knew I have the 200s that we're going to be looking at on Monday, this being done on Thursday. I want to make sure I still had enough recovery. So as you can see, I shut it down. I had plenty of reps in the tank. I'm not looking to show off with 125-pound dumbbells. Moving on to these T3 raises. These are great for the rhomboids, the shoulders, traps even. They really just work. You don't need a lot of weight at all. Just pausing them at the top works that plenty. These felt really good after all the rolling around on a lacrosse ball all week. I've been icing and heating as well, kind of counteracting those two, alternating them. And so the shoulders definitely feel a lot better. It still bothers me a little bit while I'm laying down at night, but not at all in workouts. So I think we're actually on the right track there. Just we'll see how Monday goes with bench. And going into day 4 this week on Friday, I did not know what to expect. I knew my squat day was, I'd say about 80%. I really wanted to be about 100%. Going into deadlifts today, I knew I have 650 prescribed, and I know I would have liked to have seen the 615 move a little better last week. Didn't have any trouble with the weight. I just was stiff-legged a little bit. My form wasn't ideal. So with all that said, and then obviously just my mind being wrapped around a potential injury, if you will, deadlift is a lot of a mental game with me, and as most people. I wanted to make sure that I was bringing it 100%. So went ahead and did these as my warm-up, and I like to film a few of my warm-up sets here just to see the speed, see my form, make sure that I'm not breaking down. This is actually a double overhand, no big deal. Felt very good about the speed. This is 585. Did my over-under, which is my competition grip for now, and I rolled it a little bit here just to get into position, and definitely felt good about the speed. So I got a front view here, and I'll actually show you a front and a side. By the way, I'm weighing about 285 to 288, depending on what I am, what time of the day I'm weighing in at. So if you've ever seen me pull before, you know that was easily about a 5-rep set there, which is easily a PR. 650 by 2 is actually matching what I did back in May, 3 weeks out from pulling 700, almost 733. So I am ecstatic about pulling this 8 weeks out. I am pretty positive that, and actually next week we'll be going 710. So we're ready to get up into the 700s. So this 515 felt really good. Normally my speed reps after my main sets don't feel too good energy-wise. I just feel like I'm pretty burned out already. Felt amazing on this particular day. So 710 next week. We're going to see how that feels. That'll be not my all-time PR in the gym. 725 is. But if 710 can move like this 650 moves, I think we're set up for a pretty big number at Boss of Bosses. But we will see. So it was obviously anything that's relating to that lat or anything that's pulling or shoulder rotation. Obviously I'm thinking about the shoulder. Didn't feel it on anything at all. In fact, on the Meadows rows here in a second, you'll see it was actually my biggest worry that it was going to irritate. Actually, it's after this, but on the Meadows rows when I'm doing one-arm rows, shoulder is a very big mover in that movement, that exercise. Nothing at all. So either it's not as serious as I even thought it might be, or it definitely is going away with just the treatment that I'm doing. So I'm pretty happy about that. Obviously I don't want anything getting in the way of training if it doesn't need to, but like I said, I will address it immediately if it need be. And actually talking with Josh Bryant earlier this week, I was saying that I am prepared, if need be, to just go 600 at the meet if I have to for bench, and go something, heavy on squat, heavy on deadlift, just to round out that 2100 total, which is pretty humbling to say. I remember when 600 was just a shot in the dark, and now even on a bad day, can do 600 and just almost as a token lift. And that's very humbling, but taken many hours, many years of training to get to that point. Truly blessed with that. But for now, I'd like to put up some good numbers. Full power. Bench only is definitely my passion. I have a niche for it. I can train like no other and put up some numbers that some people only dream of in bench. And that's a really cool feeling. But I definitely want to prove something to myself and to the world that you don't have to be just bench only if you don't want to be. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to go back to it and do it for a while. Alright, so moving on, the last thing of the day is my static holds. These are to work on my grip strength. Zoomed in a little bit here this week so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So basically, I put a little bit of chalk just so there's not slippery. I've got some sweat and stuff that's by the end of the workout that's on my fingers, so it definitely makes it a lot harder to hold. But basically just grab a 10-pound dumbbell here and hold it for 20 seconds between my ring fingers and switch off. So I basically do both ring fingers twice and both pinkies twice. And so each one of these being for 20 seconds each. Don't have too much of a problem with the ring fingers, but my pinkies, I can definitely sense that those, holding on to a 10-pound plate, I get some cramping and a little bit of slippage here and there, but that's why we work on it. The theory behind this, as I've explained a lot before, but just in case you guys are new, is typically when you're doing your deadlifts, the first finger to give is going to be your pinky and then your ring finger. So if you're having trouble with your grip, these will definitely help. This is a specific exercise meant for grip, and there's a lot of other things you can do as well for forearms and things like that. But I do not have any trouble with my grip at all when I get up heavy. But I don't want to have any trouble, so that's the whole point of doing these exercises, to make sure that I'm not running into problems. That would be the worst feeling in the world, to be able to put up 800 pounds or something and right at lockout have it slip out of your fingers due to a weak grip. So definitely do not want that to happen. So this is planning ahead at its finest. Nothing exciting. I didn't speed it up this week, so you can see kind of what's going on. Just jamming in my head. Gotta remind me, guys, I gotta put up a Spotify playlist so you guys can see what kind of music I listen to. I'm pretty random. I like rock, I like rap. On this day, believe it or not, I was listening to a lot of slower 80s music just to keep me calm. So it just depends on what the day brings. But I got my wife right here, Georgia, aka Miss Swim Hack on Instagram. Like to mess with her a little bit. She's waiting on me to finish up my training so we can go eat dinner. But that pretty much wraps it up for week 16. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Appreciate every single one of you. Definitely thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and you guys can follow me on Instagram at SwimHack. See you guys next week.